Hey again, this is Matthew and this is Conscious Recovery. These are a collection of videos in which I talk about all the ideas and all the concepts that helped me understand my addiction and build a strong and lasting recovery. All of these ideas helped me, so I share them now in the hopes that it might help you. And the last few videos we've been talking about cognitive distortions. Back in the 60s, there was a psychologist, researcher named Aaron Beck, and he started to notice a pattern in his clients. All the people that had mental distress all kind of thought in the same sort of way. And he started to notice these patterns and then categorize them. And he came up with 10 cognitive distortions. These are bad habits of thinking. And if you use them, which many people do, and without noticing, if you use these cognitive distortions on the daily, you will create for yourself unnecessary stress. Okay? These cognitive distortions trick us. Okay, they are not aligned with reality, these thought patterns that we accidentally find ourselves stuck in. So if you can notice them and change them, well, then you can reduce the amount of stress that you have. All right, and the one that we're talking about today, the third out of 10, is the cognitive distortion of labeling. All right, labeling is when we go ahead and quickly slap a label onto ourselves or others or a situation. And this one word label is very absolute and final, and it usually packs a bit of an emotional punch. So here's an example, calling yourself a failure. I think I use this example with the all or nothing thinking. And in the all or nothing thinking, thinking of yourself as a failure is the end of an extreme. Well, labeling kind of does the same thing. You are obviously many more things than just a failure, but when you slap yourself with that label, that thought of failure creates emotion, and that emotion is not good. So if you can find a way to change the label, add a little more context, then you can find a way to change the way you feel. Because labels have a way of getting us to identify with them. So if you call yourself a failure, you start to think that that's who you are as a person. And that's just not true. So failure is one example, and here's another. I don't want to get controversial here, but calling yourself an addict, okay? I'm not telling you what to do, but I do not refer to myself as an addict. This idea of once an addict, always an addict, is just psychologically unverifiable, okay? There's no evidence to show that a person who has struggled in the past must struggle the rest of their life. And, call me naive, fine, I'm sure some people disagree, but 10 years in, I don't feel like an addict at all, okay? And so I reject the label of addict. And what I used to say to myself instead is, I've struggled with addiction. And now I'm learning how to not struggle with addiction. And the better and better I get at that, the stronger I become in my recovery. There's going to be a certain part where addict just doesn't even come close to describing who I am. And I would say the word addict, the label addict, hasn't described me for at least 8-9 years. Okay? I haven't even come close to addictive behavior. So, stay away from labels. They are low resolution, meaning a simple word doesn't even come close to adequately describing who or what you are. Okay, so they're inaccurate, they're misaligned with reality, and they carry a hefty emotional punch. So, one example or one bit of advice for how to cognitively reframe one of these things is just add a lot more words and be forgiving. Okay? Yeah, I failed. Okay, but I've also done a lot of successful things, and I'm trying my best, and everybody fails once in a while. See, I just added a whole bunch of words to that sentence. Instead of the one word of failure, you throw a bunch on words behind it, and just keep forgiveness in mind. All right, be forgiving to yourself. Likewise goes for the use of the word addict. Yeah, I was addicted. I had substance use problems, and there was a point in my life where I couldn't do anything without substances. They ran my entire motivational world. Everything I did was for those substances. But that's not me anymore. Not even close. Every choice that I have now is aimed towards my recovery, and that's family and connection. So, hope that helps.